Welcome back to the channel. I hope you're having a fantastic day wherever you are around this beautiful planet of ours. Guys, it's the end of the week, which means we need to recap the markets, close up shop for the weekend, and have a look at where the markets closed out the week to give us an indication of this strong or weak type of market. Now, there are a lot of macroeconomic conditions that are going on out there, and if yesterday's video wasn't a sign that people are getting very frustrated with the old bullish hopium style of content that I'm talking about here, I don't know what is. But first up, make sure you get those fireworks going on by hitting the like button from your laptops, or if you're on your mobile phone, unfortunately, you just get a nice little click there. Subscribe if you haven't already, click the buttons there, and let's crack on with the rest of the content. All right, let's start with the S&P, the US dollar, and a quick look at metals before we dive really heavily into cryptocurrencies. This is important because these are the macro players right here. This is what we've been looking at on the channel, as I talked about in yesterday's video, looking specifically at the macro turns, the monthly swing tops. When the markets break out of those areas, you can basically kiss any of your downside targets, those extreme downside targets, goodbye. And in the case of one altcoin, which I'll get to in this video, that one's probably not going to see any of those crazy lower prices that people have been waiting for. And if Bitcoin continues up in this fashion, which we have seen it pump over the last 24 hours, we can probably kiss goodbye that 10K. And I'm obviously leaning more towards kissing that 10K goodbye as we start to head up and put in higher lows. Now, if you're not following, make sure you do, because every month we go through a analysis for the upcoming month. October has played out reasonably well. November, we are on that charge now, looking for higher prices. I'm not going to get too far ahead of myself, but I just do encourage you to check out the other content on the channel and not just pay attention to headlines out there. We're covering a holistic view here, looking at market sentiment like fear and greed, and then marrying this with the traditional markets, the US dollar, cryptocurrencies, to put together a full piece for our investment plans. All right, this has been something that we've used in the past for buying Bitcoin at lower prices as the fear and greed index. I've covered it quite a lot. Today, we finally see it reach fear, but in the old goldeny bronze color. We've been in fear for the last, couple of months at least, and then extreme fear prior to that. And the whole time we've been looking at this as being an indicator of a bullish divergence. You can see the fear, which is essentially what people are thinking and feeling in the markets, what they're saying, and I see it in the comments. And I hope you guys are paying attention to that and coming down and reading some of these things. And I appreciate your comments down there as well. You know, I'm getting back to a lot of people. You can see that through here. But then there's a lot of people that say that we've still got a lot of problems with the recession coming later next year, which means we're probably not going to see a pump till then, and the Fed has to pivot, etc., etc. I just remind you, markets can bottom before recession. Markets can bottom anytime before because they're always forward thinking. No matter what else goes on, people are waiting and waiting and waiting for news, which is fair enough. You're all entitled to do your own thing in the market. And of course, that's why I'm here. I'm entitled to share my opinion with what I've seen over the last 16 years in markets. Now, what I've got here is the markets are always darkest before the light. And yesterday was really, really interesting with some of the comments. It's just a little bit more pressure on the macro stuff, saying that we have worse to come. Yet the S&P just jumped up a little bit more. We jumped off our 50% level. I'm not saying this is over yet, but it's a really nice sign to see that we've come off the 50% at 3,700. I'm just trying to close up a little bit higher. This to me still isn't the strongest piece, but at least we're putting in some higher lows here and we're staying away from the 3,600 level. So at the end of the week here for the S&P, we are attempting to put in a higher swing bottom. There's 3,700 points, dead on our 50% level. The so far cycle low has hit dead on the macro 50%. And if this Gann analysis can't be any more accurate, I don't know what else is. I mean, it's something that I've used for over 12 years now. And like I said, I've been investing for 16 as I bought my first property when I was 20. It's pretty much just, it continues to happen time and time again, where I see the darkest sort of feel for the market as we start to come out of those lows as well. And it's what Gann has described as a higher swing bottom. We're not there yet, but I've seen it happen so many times before in the market, which is why it fills me with a lot of confidence for my investing. I'm not having a go at anyone's emotional state or the state of the world. But if I'm looking purely at the markets and how I invest and putting my emotions to the side, which I suggest you do too if you want to make money in this space, then it is a positive sign for me to see the darker sort of stuff coming, people getting more fearful. I know it sounds crazy, at those lows. All right. So I think, as I've said many, many times before, at least since June here, and my video that I put out in February, I thought the market was going to come down from June. I think we're rounding some bottoms, and that's so far what seems to be happening. Before we know it, things may be too late and we could be up a fair bit more. We start to break the 42s and the 43s on the S&P, and that's when we see everyone say, oh, maybe we're going to go up from that point, and they'll continue to wait for more bad news and probably until the all-time highs are taken out. It's just what has happened in the markets for decades and decades and decades. All right, it's just part of human psyche. So anyway, this crypto fear and greed, we got those extreme levels in May and June, so well down below 10. That was extreme fear. Then we had the extreme fear through September and October as well. So still underneath 30, sort of trending around that 20 to 25, but it was a higher low. So that's the divergence here within people's emotional state towards the market. And I said we would probably get a breakout here. We had the swing up, the higher low beginning to form, and now we've just broken out of that. And that's what we saw yesterday as the market's pumped up. So on the back of the S&P, you can see here on the daily, we've got that little bit of a green move filling in this gap. It's not out of the woodworks yet, but things are looking okay here. What is also looking down is the US dollar. We have one day close above the 50% and then snapped back down. Very, very big bar here. Bam, straight back down for the USD. I called it on the channel at this point, 26, and I'm hesitant to say I called it. I'm looking at what the news is doing. It is still a fair bit of time, but this is going back to the 26, almost to the cent, saying the news was getting way too hot, saying the US dollar is the best currency and everything else is about to collapse. This had to be said back a year and a half ago when USD was at its lows. At this point, I said the US dollar is probably getting towards a top. Can go higher, can go to 115, 118. Maybe we're starting to set up here to go a little bit higher, but we're just getting a little bit shakier here, and more so than what we have done on the entire move. Still reserve the right to wait to see whether we actually get that breakdown. As per the weekly chart, the trend is down. We have two swing tops confirmed, two lower tops, and we have lower bottoms. All right, but once that 109 breaks, things will probably get a little bit quicker to the downside. But for now, there's still a hope for the USD to go up further if you want it to go up further. Silver was another one here, which I'll touch on quickly. This was something that I was looking at as a purchase under around 20 or 21 per ounce. Now, I'll put this out to our members in TIA. If you guys are interested, go to the top of the video description and find the link for TIA Premium, or go to our website here, ticrypto.com. The price is going up, but we're just keeping it open for another few hours, 24 hours for the Northern Hemisphere guys, the US guys, just to get that timing right. So from $7.99 going up to nearly $1,100, okay? So if you want to get in, check it out. There is a link right there, and we'll send out an email as well. So make sure you are subscribed to our email for that, so you got some more details. So silver is something I put out. Look, it's up about 10% so far. This is going to be a multi-year play. That's basically my buy price, 18.6 an ounce on some silver. Just a bit of a speculative thing here. Cryptocurrencies. All right, Bitcoin pumping up. I said the trap was $20,700. That's where I'm looking at the market, finding some sort of resistance and sort of playing around until it could break through that. And in the last 24 hours so far, we've broken through it. We had that close above at 21,144. This is a good sign for Bitcoin, leading into what I was talking about in yesterday's video here. Caution, Bitcoin investors lost big last time this happened. I suspect from this point, and it is early days, I'm just seeing some of those signs. I know it is early days, all right? So we need to see some of those confirmations on higher term timeframes like the weekly. But basically what has happened from this point, as I mentioned in this video, is potentially we start to get a bit of a runaway from this point, and the FOMO starts to set in, which causes prices to go a little bit higher. And that might be what takes us to break through this $25,000 level. So I still hold that reserve here because we've come up for the end of week close almost to this 50% level. So we're into Saturday now. So this is the new day's data, and it's just hanging out at 21,400. Basically, the 50% level from the cycle low so far on the spot markets, cycle low here, to this bear market rally top. There's the 50% line at 21,400. So a break through that and a close would be fantastic to see some consolidation to then test that August top, which if it is broken is going to be absolutely big news for Bitcoin getting out of the bear market. Reminder, 25,200, if that is broken, that is going to be big news for Bitcoin getting out of the bear market. As I had pointed out in yesterday's video, every time before in the past it breaks the monthly swing tops, that is a big key signal that we are out of the bear market. All right, doesn't mean we shoot straight up to new all-time highs. Like you can see for previous cycle, we can trend back down into that zone, but it tells us there's more confirmation here. Any of those lows are probably they're much safer by the dip opportunity than anything prior to that. Even though those prices are lower, markets can go lower until you get a confirming signal like this on a macro time frame. It happened the cycle before that, and that happens on the S&P as well. Okay, so it's an analysis that has been used over 100 years of data, not just 2 cycles on Bitcoin, which you often see in the cryptocurrency space where we only have this 10 or 12 years of data. This is a tool that is used over any market that has a chart, which is really, really important if you are looking to make, use this as your long-term style of trading. Monthly, right up to that point right now. Weekly, so far, so good. And the daily, good to see that we've got a pump up. So Bitcoin breaking some of these weekly swing tops. Next test is to get above 21,400. Then we can, I think, get to that 21.4, 23.2. That's the tackling points that we have coming up for us now for Bitcoin before we can hopefully break this 25.2 and take out that logarithmic downtrend. So logarithmic bear market. 10K, you could almost, or once it breaks that point, I'd kiss it goodbye. Here, you still got some hope of a 10K, but it is fading a lot because we are getting these moves up, breaking some macro swing top levels. ETH, similar sort of page here. It is breaking past the 50% level from the downtrend. So we've got the 50% here at 1,610. It is testing the bear market downtrend yet again. So I dare say with those sort of resistance levels, you have to expect, you have to go on the side of a potential reaction from this point, okay? So although I'm quite bullish for this market to continue up and break it eventually, I have to be well aware that, well, you've got a bear market downtrend that is very macro from the all-time high to the biggest bear market rally so far. Have to expect some sort of reaction here and potential to break down again to test maybe 14 or 15. That's the bearish case. The bullish case is if we break through and hold up on top of 1600 and then we charge towards that 1800 level, which was my Wyckoff bullish flip, which is basically this bar here on the 19th of August. That was where the market changed behavior. That's why it's so critical for me for Ethereum to get back above 1,850. And then you could probably start to cross off the monthly swing top. So let's go down to the monthly chart here, the macro stuff. There's your monthly swing top. We break those levels. We're probably on our way to at least test that. And then Ethereum would probably start to put in its trading range between sort of your $1,000 and 2,000-ish, or wherever it tops out here, maybe 22 or 24. Okay, so it might start to put in its trading range. And this can take some time. That was another comment from these videos here, that people think we're going to be in these bottoms and we're going to be here for some time, forgetting about the macroeconomic environments, etc., etc. So that leads me quickly back to this point. Markets are always forward-thinking. Retail and dumb money, that's what it's called, not calling anyone individually dumb, but dumb money is always left behind thinking about the news and macroeconomics. No harm here to Anonymous J. Take off or explode. I don't think it's going to take off or explode from here, but it's giving us some earlier signals that we could be setting up to put in a longer term trading range. Look what happened last time. This took years, but a lot of people were thinking we could go back down past $80, which was the low in December 2018. But we ended up putting in a trading range here and people sort of missed it, hoping and praying for lower than $80. They're looking for $50 ETH, $10 ETH, any of the lower points. But if this is broken to the upside and we stay around this range for all of 2023, I'm not saying we explode to new all-time highs, but we stay in this range, I'd not be expecting anything to break down past that 880, which was the low, or around those $1,000 levels, okay? Unless there was some sort of black swan. Forget about that for now. Trading range, I think, is probably on if we break the 20,000 and $30 right here. Okay, on to the altcoin, and this is Binance. There's nothing sexy at all. It is the pattern that we're looking for here. Look at the monthly right now for Binance. We have just broken the monthly swing tops. Take this off log. You can see the top, monthly swing top, another monthly swing top, and another one just in the last 24 to 36 hours. We've broken through that and attempting to close above it, close above the 50% level, the all-time 50% level. You see about $6 for Binance. I mean, you could take it out even lower. It doesn't really make too much of a difference here. It's going to just make the 50% lower, but the market's closed higher. So overall, Binance is looking like one of the strongest cryptocurrencies. Yes, you're not going to get those 1,000 extra turns that you might gambling on some other shit coin, which really may not even be out at this point. But just as an idea for the safer bets, like we've had Ethereum in the past, Binance looks like it is attempting to be one of those safer bets moving into the future as well, breaking past that monthly swing top. I said I'm going to do a video on this very soon, probably next week. So stay tuned to the channel. Make sure you go across here, like, subscribe, bell notification icon. I'm going to talk specifically about altcoins that are looking strong for the upcoming bull market, how to spot those. And if you haven't already, make sure you check the rest of the links here. Subscribe to the newsletter. I'll send out some details about the TIA premium course as well. Guys, thank you once again. I hope you have a fantastic weekend. Check out the videos that are popping up on your left-hand side right now for more trading information. And I'll see you at the next one. Until then, peace out.